So this is the continuation for April 9th, 2022. What I was saying was where I last left off before it, because I ran out of space, where they would consider someone if their weight fluctuates, like I was describing in the previous video. They consider it suspicious, as if they had committed a crime and as if they were on probation at their doctor's office. And so that it's crazy how much they get away with, because it's like, wait, I'm not on probation, but yet they treat it as though someone's on probation for the rest of their life, or they try to. There's It's crazy. I can't. It's like they themselves can't differentiate the legal system, probation, versus them trying. They all of a sudden the doctor thinks um that they could play the superior court judge of a state or a country, and then before and pass their own laws or legal system via the mass index standards. They think they could use that as a justification of sentencing someone to an eating disorder clinic. You know what I mean? Whereas, like, and then they could die there possibly from a food allergy. It's like, wait, but then they could have just went home and went out skating with their friends, and they've weighed that weight since, the age of 30. Yet they wanted to play the game of the superior court judge or a state judge, and then sentence their the person that's going to their false probation court system into an eating disorder clinic, where they may end up actually dying possibly, and or their life ends shorter than if they were back out on their skateboard skating, and get injured or something. you know um yeah, so that's where they're sick in a way, but because they can't differentiate for some reason, that they have an addiction to CA. When I was in seventh grade, I tore ligaments in my right ankle, and then I was told once it heals that I was supposed to discontinue, let's say, taking pain medicine and stuff. I had migraine headaches since I was up until I was maybe 22, 23 years old. The migraines went away because I changed the way I eat, where the only source of monosodium glutamate that I consume is from soy sauce, and it doesn't cause me migraine headaches. But whereas if I ate, let's say, chips that had MSG or monosodium glutamate included as an ingredient, or let's say flavor enhancers listed, and like, let's say it was some type of potato chips that, not potato chips, but like chips that you'd get like potato chips, but let's say they're barbecue flavored and they had monosodium glutamate in them, I would get a headache from that. Or I haven't ate that in, let's say, 18 years, 19 years. So I don't have to take migraine medications because I don't get them. Whereas when I was a kid growing up, from, let's say, I think it may have been eighth grade up until I was a senior in high school, I took migraine medication, and I had a slight addiction to it that developed because I was kind of taking it recreationally for some of its other uh, things that it would cause. It was over the counter at the time. They put it behind the counter when I was coming close to senior year of high school. I believe that's when they were putting it behind the counter. And then that's when I had my incident around that time, because I sprained my neck and I needed, like, it wasn't going, the pain was like, my neck was really stiff, and I was trying to find another method to, resolve that at the time. That was part of it. So I had to stop all substances after that incident right away. And then I was given, let's say, some type of pain medication from the hospital at one point for a short amount of time that was like similar to the over the counter medication that I was taking. But that was like 2 years later, and I chose to stop taking that, I believe, at the time. I had more control over it because I didn't want to have a problem again. It was less addictive. There was no addiction. It caused a bit of a euphoria. It caused the elation and everything, but I was able to have more control over it, developing a habit to it. Whereas the stuff I was taking when I was a kid growing up, it was highly addictive. So I mean, I would try to stop, and then I made a promise to myself, for about 3 days I wouldn't be taking it, and then I would say, okay, maybe I have a headache, and if I were to take it again, I would only take it for its 4 to 6 hour time release amount, or whatever, the 2 pills every 4 to 6 hours, but I would only take the one dose. I said that to myself, but then I'd get hooked on it for another 3 weeks or so. And so I had to change the way I ate up 2 years after the incident. That's around the time I became a vegan. That was like 19 years ago, 18 years ago or so. My incident happened about 20 years ago, I believe, somewhere around there. I was 18 at the time. So it may have been 16 years ago, 17, I don't know exactly, but no, my incident happened when I was 18. I'm 36. That was about 18, 19 years ago. So yeah, something like that. And there. Okie dokie. Good stuff. I don't want to drop it. I don't like eating too much of the fake meat at once because I like to spread it out. It sounds like a documentary from another country, Well, there are people obviously from other countries. Uh, um, tastes a little like ramen today. The sesame oil. And the ginger sauce. It tastes a little like ramen when eating it with the fake meat. I was never on probation. They treated my incident as it was pretty bad. I went in. It was a walk-in admission type thing. I went in with my parents, and like they checked my thyroid at the time. The endocrinologist, then he felt a little lump, so they did a needle point biopsy to check to make sure it wasn't anything that would spread. And they they kept the thyroid there. They didn't do any surgical removal of the thyroid because he was, I could still feel it, and he was able to check after the needle point biopsy. And they're saying if it came back cancerous, or if it got developed a goiter or something, then they would maybe have to surgically remove. They didn't. The only reason why I take thyroid medication is because I was diagnosed with hypothyroidism. Yeah, let's say the acai berry drink that I make, the acai goji berry lemonade, it does help actually. I do notice it helping, even though I do um, on occasion skip the thyroid medication, and it does work as a good substitute sometimes for me. You know, it's natural iodine content. Same with coconut oil. Now, what was I going to say? I forgot what I was going to say. I hate when that happens. Ay. It's natural iodine content. And I can't just seek it to see what I last said. I have to end it and I'd have to watch it. I don't feel like doing that right now. Oh yeah, I still I was given the thyroid medication because it was underactive. Yeah, I had a different diet back then. Whereas I now include the carrageenan. The carrageenan used to be in the non-dairy products at the grocery store that were already made. Now they had switched it from carrageenan to Jalangum, but Jalangum I don't think has a source of iodine in it. I didn't check, and it doesn't work well with me. Whereas the products when they had the carrageenan in it, which was a traditional thing that even the Asian grocery store, the Asian markets, non-dairy beverages, before, let's say, they even entered the regular grocery store, the ingredient list would have carrageenan as one of their traditional, thickeners. Yeah, a thickener. Yeah, they switched it to Jalangum, and I make my own homemade soy milks with the carrageenan and the acai berry goji berry lemonade. So that has iodine in it, along with the coconut oil I sometimes use. I do notice it helps those items. Whereas it's easier to determine after I had became a vegan than if I wasn't a vegan, or if I wasn't a vegan after several months to maybe a year. It would be hard to determine what would actually be working. Whereas after being a vegan now, I'd say the threshold would be 6 months to a year strict vegan. One would begin noticing, if the coconut oil is working, or the acai goji berry lemonade that I make. If it, as a complementary type supplemental thing to work as an adjunct or an emergency type possible useful food item. So it becomes easier to determine uh, without that BCM7 casein interfering with that ability to, or the monosodium glutamate from other items. Soy sauce doesn't is not it's a naturally occurring monosodium glutamate. It's just like how vitamin D develops inside mushrooms naturally through the photosynthesis of the ultraviolet sunlight. So our bodies wouldn't have to necessarily do that. Just it's already manufactured in the mushroom that we would eat. Now, in smaller amounts, probably about 15 minutes.